Hi, this is Ailey and Daniel for Design Break, and today we're going back in time to look at websites from the past.
So we've traveled back in time to the late 90s, which is what this look is all about. You need to blend in when you're time traveling. That's vitally important. But the first website that we're going to look at is YouTube.
So this is one of the first iterations of YouTube. This is from 2005, and this is YouTube's About page. It basically just has one line that says that YouTube is the first online community where members can share personal videos.
Yeah, and it's difficult to know if there was potentially more on the page when Flash was a thing. Unfortunately, Flash is no longer a thing, which is actually quite sad, so you can't really see any of the original videos, although they probably wouldn't be downloaded anyway. But
we should take a look at the sign-up page because it's quite...
So yeah, that's the sign-up page there. Can you imagine only having to submit just these few fields of information?
Yeah. But yeah, it's pretty cool to see what YouTube was like. That's right.
Yeah. So we're traveling even further back in time now to 1997, and this is the apple.com website from 97. You can see virtually no images. Again, maybe some of these are missing, but it's quite a minimal layout there, using that sort of classic Apple typeface there. I have another page open here of Apple from 2003, I believe this is. What's quite interesting, I think with this one is the menu is actually relatively close to what it is now, and in comparison, this is how the menu looks now. So I mean, obviously graphically it's definitely come a long way from this sort of pseudomorphism here, but it has the same Apple logo there and some of the same header items, so it's not a million miles away, but
yeah, I kind of like the really old one with all the text.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about these old sites is that they look a bit like newspapers.
It's kind of like where they got their inspiration from and stuff.
Yeah, before web design became its own creative category almost.
Yeah. Okay, so next up, I was trying to think of websites that we still use today so we can kind of, it's got more context. And I thought of Dominos, so...
which we use frequently.
Yeah, we kind of do actually. So this is Dominos from 1999, and I just really like just the silliness of it, the funny pictures, and just the silly jokes that they've got on. It's almost like cracker jokes.
Something I think is really interesting to note with these old websites is that the audience is definitely not as broad as it is now. So whereas a Domino's website now has to appeal to everyone, back in the day it really only would be a select few who had access to the internet. So you were talking to a very tech savvy or a very early adopter kind of audience. So it was actually a slightly different audience, which might have factored into the designs on some of these sites.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if we go forward a few years, so this is 2001. So it's kind of still quite similar side menu, with the silliness, the finger food with attitude, and the colors there. And it's actually kind of cool to see how the whole page layout is actually like a domino. You've got the box there and then the two underneath, so it's kind of like an upside down version of the logo. And then skipping way ahead to modern day, almost like busier, I think, with more stuff going on, but definitely less on the colors and more white, which is kind of what we saw with the Apple one as well.
Yeah. They've obviously gone really heavy on the images, because one of the things with the old days is that it would take forever to download a picture. So.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, that's probably why they used all the block colors to make it more interesting without increasing load times.
Yeah. So to get access to all these sites, we used a tool called Wayback Machine, and you can actually check out virtually any website. They've got a ridiculously huge library of different websites. So if you work at a company that has been around for a long time, you could look that up and see basically the websites through time, and they've got snapshots taken from different dates through history. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool to see the evolution of a website, and you can even see the brand and stuff, and go back and look at really funny websites right back at the start and stuff. It's
Yeah, like Domino's even have an older version of that that just has like these sort of jokes on them, or I don't know if it tied into an ad campaign at the time.
Yeah, it's like got these really funky illustrations and just these silly jokes on them, and yeah, it's quite cool.
So if you find any gems, let us know in the comments, drop the link. We'll definitely check those out. Have a good laugh there. One of the other ones that's really popular is the Space Jam one, but because it's still live today, so you can still check that one out. But
yeah, that's pretty cool.
We'll maybe drop the link to that one in the description.
So that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Bye.